افغانستان و راز طلا. 12 نوامبر 2001 کابل، افغانستان. نیروی هوایی ایالات متحده در جنگ علیه تروریسم بر روی شهر مرگ می‌بارد و انفجارهای پی در پی بانک مرکزی را احاطه کرده است.
There was fighting outside the bank and the presidential palace. The Taliban were losing control of the country.
گروهی از ملاهای طالبان دست به تلاشی سرسختانه برای سرقت با ارزشترین گنجینه طلای باختری که در یک قاب صندوق غیرقابل نفوذ قرار داشت میزنند.
It was a day before they were toppled in Kabul, and there's planes flying all over the place, and they try to get in there, try to break the vault.
They were dealing with the Taliban. They could easily have shot them. One of the brave employees tells them that 7 keys were made which were given to 7 people. These people are living all over the world. We have to bring them all together to open it.
بمباران بیرون شدیدتر می شود و فرصت طالبان برای نجات و خروج از کابل در حال اتمام است.
They are desperately trying to get in there because they want to get the gold.
طالبان بدون طلاها محل را ترک نمیگویند و قصد دارند قاب صندوق را برای تاراج ثروت عظیمی که شایع شده درون آن قرار دارد منفجر کنند. ای کاش می‌دانستند که در شرف نابودی گرانبهاترین گنجینه‌ای که جهان به خود دیده است هستند. طلای باختری افغانستان. لندن 1867. اینجا محلی است که افسانه طلای افغانستان متولد شد. داستان‌هایی از سکه‌های طلای اسرارآمیز از سرزمین‌های دور که توسط گروهی از کلکسیونرها نقل می‌شود.
When a group of numismatic experts met for dinner, in the course of conversation, one person spoke up and said that that day a beggar from Central Asia had come around to show him this magnificent gold coin. The man had asked the beggar, what kind of coin is it, how large is it, whose face is on it, and the beggar had simply said, it's a coin that's about this big, it's solid gold. And the numismatic expert immediately dismissed the man. No such coin could exist. No ancient king ever minted a coin of the size that this beggar claimed to have. And so the conversation drifted on to other subjects. And then one of those who was there, a Frenchman, began to think more and more about this great gold coin. He was seized by a fit of numismatic fever and decided, I've got to see this coin for myself. He tracked down this beggar in a ramshackle flat in London and said, I understand you have a magnificent coin, may I see it? And so the beggar took off his great heavy coat. And there, sewn into a leather patch, he pulled out this magnificent gold coin. He was shocked by electricity when he held this magnificent thing, and he immediately convinced himself, this is a genuine artifact of the ancient world, the most magnificent that has ever been found. And he asked the beggar, tell me more about this coin. And then the beggar says, well, 7 of us found it.
در طول قرنها برای دستیابی به طلا قتل و کشتار بسیار رخ داده است.
And immediately 5 of us fell dead, and 2 of us survived in the fight to own this coin. The 2 survivors decided that they would toss a coin to decide which one would smuggle this great gold coin to Europe, where it could fetch a high price. Well, the French expert very calmly said, I'll offer you 1,000 pounds for it. The offer stands for 20 minutes. And so for 19 and a half minutes, these 2 men stared at each other across this ramshackle flat in London. And finally, the beggar handed over the coin, took his 1,000 pounds, and so the Frenchman acquired one of the magnificent coins of all time.
مرد فرانسوی کمیابترین سکه جهان را با 2.5 اینچ قطر و وزنی بیش از 169 گرم خرید.
Through the coins you can date who ruled in different regions. So You see that there are many different successive rulers and generals of Greek descent there.
It's a masterpiece. It's very finely carved, minted. It's the biggest gold coin in antiquity, and it was minted by King Eucratides, who was famous. He reigned both in Bactria and in Pakistan.
کشف سکه حیرت انگیز است. شاه ایوکراتیدیس نماد چیزی است که بسیاری معتقدند قلمرو یونانی اسکندر کبیر در باختر است. سرزمین هزار شهر افغانستان باستان.
According to historical documents, Alexander built approximately 1,000 cities throughout Central Asia, many of those, of course, in Bactria.
اندازه و وزن خالص این سکه که به زیبایی طراحی شده تب طلا را شعله ور می‌کند. سکه طلای ایوکراتیدس اولین نشانه واقعی از یک ثروت عظیم مدفون شده در زیر شنهای افغانستان است. ثروتی که متعلق به اسکندر کبیر است. دکتر فرانک هارت تلاش‌های اسکندر کبیر در باختر را در کتابش شرح می‌دهد. در سرزمین استخوان‌ها یا Land of Bones، اسکندر در افغانستان.
Alexander grew up in a world of military ambition, of heroic ideals and dreams. Persia was an extremely wealthy nation and was quite prized by the Greeks as a land of opportunity in terms of conquest.
در 334 پیش از میلاد مسیح اسکندر مقدونیه را به قصد تصرف امپراتوری ثروتمند و اسرارآمیز ایران ترک می‌گوید. در طی 5 سال لشکر او شرق اروپا، شمال آفریقا و آسیای غربی را تصرف می‌کند. نبوغ نظامی اسکندر پیروزی‌های بسیاری برای او به ارمغان می‌آورد تا آنکه به باختر می‌رسد.
Alexander, when he came to the areas currently known as Afghanistan, he had some stiff resistance. Alexander was surprised because no one had actually gone as far as he had gone from the west.
When Alexander reached the city of Bactria, they found a quite shocking sight. Bodies being gnawed by dogs. They began to wonder what kind of barbarism had entrenched itself.
اجساد افرادی که بیش از اسکندر به آنجا حمله کرده بودند به عنوان هشداری وحشیانه برای متجاوزان در این سرزمین باقی مانده بود. اما در میان این همه وحشیگری اسکندر مناطقی سرشار از منابع طلا یافته بود که هر کسی را وسوسه می‌کرد.
The Persian Empire was an extremely wealthy empire which was able to accumulate about 5,000 tons of reserve gold and silver. Much of that gold came from Bactria, at the hub of what would later become the Great Silk Road.
The Silk Road was basically a commerce trade. Trade would come through there from Europe as far as Roman Empire and Greek Empire, and they would end up all the way in China.
If you're in the east, you have to go through Afghanistan to get to the west, and if you're at the west, you have to go to Afghanistan to get to the east.
So all the regions around Bactria that produced gold and silver tended to funnel them in that direction.
باختر و طلاهایش تحت کنترل فرمانروایی بیرحم به نام بسوس است. بسوس دشمنی وحشی است که قبایل اطراف را علیه اسکندر با یکدیگر متحد کرده است.
Bessus claimed the throne of Persia. Alexander claimed that throne for himself, and so there was quite a rivalry between the two.
اسکندر در بیابان‌های لم یزرع ترکستان به دنبال بسوس می‌گردد و 2000 تن از افراد خود را به دلیل شرایط خطرناک جغرافیایی از دست می‌دهد. در پایان زمانی که رهبر چادرنشین شکست می‌خورد توسط افراد خودی در ازای لطف اسکندر وسوسه می‌شوند.
Several of his strongest lieutenants turned against their general leader, Bessus, betrayed him, arrested him, turned him over to Alexander for punishment. Bessus's nose and ears were cut from his face, as that his body was tied between two bent sapling trees, which sprang upright when the ropes were cut, and therefore ripped Bessus's body apart.
برای کسب قدرت و ثروت افرادی که به دنبال تصرفان هستند چه جنایاتی که صورت نمیدهند. تسلط اسکندر بر باختر ادامه می‌یابد.
Alexander always wanted to leave some cultural legacy wherever he went.
Whenever Alexander the Great conquered an area or region, he left a portion of his troops in these areas to build an army base, and they called these bases Alexandria.
اسکندر شهرها و مراکز یونانی باختری را بنا می‌کند تا فرهنگ والای غرب را به سرزمین‌های اصلی افغانستان ببرد.
The Greeks brought in an injection of culture into the region, which really made the region more rich.
The Greeks at that time, they were the most advanced civilization in the world.
His culture got infused with the local culture, not in a top-down approach where it just suffocated the local culture, but it was an infusion in a sense where from the two you get this Greco-Bactrian culture.
شهرهای یونانی باختری اسکندر در حال رشد است و طلا و ثروت سرزمین‌های ایران را به درون قلمرو خود می‌برد که بیشتر این طلاها به شکل سکه ضرب می‌شود یا به جواهر و کارهای هنری بدل می‌گردد.
So Alexander's appeared, they made these beautiful Bactrian coins. You see the face of the generals sort of made regional commanders in the area, and they're fantastic pieces.
جستجوی اسکندر برای ثروت و قدرت او را به ورای مرزهای باختر می‌کشد. سرانجام در 323 قبل از میلاد مسیح اسکندر گرفتار بیماری مرموزی می‌شود. به رغم پیروزی‌های بسیار، جستجوی اسکندر برای قدرت نهایی و ثروت به مرگ ختم می‌شود. برخی این اتفاق را نخستین نمود نفرین طلای باختری افغانستان می‌دانند که بعدها بارها تکرار شد.
After Alexander is defeated, his empire starts to crumble.
سلسله یونانی باختری تا سال 145 بعد از میلاد مسیح برای بقا جنگی، یعنی تا زمانی که ایوکراتیدس دیگر نتوانست در مقابل قبایل چادرنشین مقاومت کند.
The last remnants of the Greek kingdom along the Oxus River were attacked and overrun by nomadic invaders from the north.
یونانی ها که شکست را نزدیک می‌دیدند شروع به دفن گنجینه هایشان کردند.
Many of these Greeks hid their treasures for safekeeping, hoping that a better day would soon come and they would come back, retrieve their treasures, and continue on in their way of life. Unfortunately, many of those treasures were not recovered. The people did not return and therefore remained in the ground.
با شروع زوال پادشاهی یونانی باختری، سرنوشت یکی از بزرگترین گنجینه‌های طلای جهان مورد تهدید قرار می‌گیرد. یک سری از قبایل چادرنشین برای به دست گرفتن قدرت در منطقه می‌جنگند.
Bactria was transferred from empire to empire to empire, constantly being dominated and taken over. And when the Kushans came,
کوشان‌ها از اتحاد 5 قبیله وحشی از آسیای مرکزی به وجود آمدند و برای تصرف باختر با هم متحد شدند.
When the Kushan people conquered the Greeks in Bactria, they looted everything that they could. They managed to obtain everything that the Greek kings collected over many decades.
کوشان‌های چادرنشین با قتل عام یونانی‌هایی که مقاومت کردند و جنگیدند، برخی از بزرگترین ثروت‌های روی زمین را تاراج کردند.
those particular nomads loved gold. For them, gold and adorning yourself with these bright jewelry type of stuff was great.
طی 100 سال بعد کوشان‌ها از آن نواحی کوچ کردند و عتیقه‌های پادشاهی یونانی باختری را بدون هیچ مدرکی با خود بردند.
What once had been great histories and biographies perhaps of ancient Bactrians, all were lost, and Bactria's history simply faded into fable and legend.
Not much was being written about it, where we lost the civilization, so there was no viable sources of information about them.
Gradually, the history of Bactria then was largely forgotten.
241 بعد از میلاد مسیح، هنگام فروپاشی امپراتوری کوشان، گنجینه‌های باختر ناپدید می‌شوند. جستجو برای یافتن آنها پر از قرن‌ها مرگ و نابودی خواهد بود. « 1867 یک سکه طلای بزرگ در لندن پیدا می شود که در تملک یک مهاجر افغان است. این سکه اولین نشانه از وجود یک گنجینه اسرارآمیز مربوط به زمان اسکندر است.
باختر از سالیان متمادی.
As a result, many explorers traveled to seek and to examine this historical land, which was once called Bactria, now known as Afghanistan.
Afghanistan had not been very publicized as far as culture, so not too many people knew about what actually lies on the soil of Afghanistan.
The greatest explorers of the time came, but were not able to find the treasure they sought due to Afghanistan's extremely difficult terrain.
جستجوگران بدون هیچ اکتشاف مهمی از جستجوی باختر خسته شدند.
Where are the 1,000 cities that these Bactrians built and ruled? Archaeology had to pick up where numismatics had left off.
نمی شود چیز بیشتری از سطح زمین جمع آوری کرد. باستانشناسان برای یافتن شهرهای گم شده و اندوخته عظیم طلایشان باید زمین را بکنند. فرانسوی‌ها اولین گروهی بودند که در 1922 شروع به کاوش کردند.
But it really wasn't until the 20th century, particularly as a result of the great French archaeologist Fouché, who in 1922 established an archaeological mission in Afghanistan, that serious excavations began to be undertaken.
آلفرد فوشه سرپرست باستانشناسی در این ناحیه با بزرگترین چالش عمرش روبرو می شود.
When the first archaeologists came to Afghanistan, the only idea they had was to find traces, vestiges of this Greek kingdom.
Fouché began to go to the obvious sites, Balkh, for example, known since antiquity to have been the capital of ancient Bactria. Surely, if you were going to find the remains of the ancient Greeks who inhabited the area, they would be found at Balkh.
He hoped very much to be the first to find the Greek monuments in Balkh, and he could not discover anything of interest because everything was deep down, covered up by more recent layers of buildings.
Hey, we have a civilization. Where the heck did it go?
He could not really understand why he could not uncover Greek monuments in a place where many Greek authors certified that there had been Greek kings living there.
فوشه به کاوش در سایت‌های مختلف دیگر در افغانستان ادامه می‌دهد، اما گنجینه گم شده هیچ کجا یافت نمی‌شود.
He concluded that if he had found nothing, it was because nothing existed, and this was the Greco-Bactrian mirage.
Fouché regrettably left without any claim to fame.
فوشه با تخیلی فرض کردن باختر به فرانسه باز می‌گردد. تا آنکه به سال 1946 تکه‌های بیشتری از پازل باختر پیدا می شود. در افغانستان شمالی در منطقه کندوز یک دفینه بزرگ از سکه‌های نقره توسط گارد مرزی پیدا می شود.
The Kunduz hoard was discovered fortuitously. The people who discovered the hoard of coins were forced to give their find to the Museum of Kabul.
سکه‌های یافت شده در کندوز به سرعت توسط متخصصین سراسر جهان مورد بررسی قرار می‌گیرد.
Each one of these is an indication of two things. One, the great wealth that once existed in Bactria, and two, the great turmoil that destroyed the Greek kingdoms and made this an abandoned wealth as the Greeks fled further south.
15 سال می‌گذرد تا نشانه بعدی از پادشاهی باختر نمایان می‌شود. 1961 جستجوی بزرگ در شمال شرقی کندوز متمرکز می شود. جالب است که این بار این پادشاه افغانستان است که شخصاً به کشف راز کشورش کمک می کند.
The king of Afghanistan used to go hunting in this part of the country on the Oxus Amudarya River.
پادشاه محمود ظاهرشاه به طور اتفاقی به منظره غیر معمول نزدیک روستای ای خانم برمیخورد. مثلثی گولاسا در زیر خاک.
While he was there, he was shown a stone capital.
And there noticed some rather remarkable remains visible just inches below the soil. The outline of an entire city was staring back at the king. The king inquired in the region, was told that indeed some magnificent things had been found by local villagers at this place called Aikanun.
سرانجام سراب باختر در حال تبدیل شدن به واقعیت است.
The king, quite educated, understood the significance of this, reported his find to the French archaeological mission in Afghanistan.
در 1961 هیئت اعزامی فرانسوی به سرپرستی دکتر پاول برنار به بررسی کشف پادشاه علاقمند می شود. برنار به ای خانم می رود.
So we went and visited the site, and we understood immediately after the first minutes that these was what we had been looking for. We were in a state of shock because it was so extraordinary for us. So this was the proof that we were on a Greek site, and of course the site of a big city, a large city.
برنار گروه کاوشگران خود را به منطقه میبرد تا کار بسیار سخت و حساس کاوش در میان خاک 2000 ساله را آغاز کند.
These were very rigorous, demanding excavations. The climate is not an easy one to deal with.
اما کاوش در این مورد ارزشمند بود.
We uncovered just in the middle of the town there was a palace, big, large palace. The proportions of this architecture was enormous.
چند سال بعد که برنار و گروهش همچنان اکتشاف را ادامه میدادند، میزان پیشرفتگی آنها شگفت‌انگیز بود.
Ay Khanum is a representation of very high culture.
There are walls around the city, some 33 feet high, 25 feet thick. There's a monumental gateway leading into the city. As you entered that town, on the left you would have seen a magnificent Greek theater that could seat 5,000 patrons, the largest theater east of the Mediterranean world.
It could have been only a very important building, and we knew by comparisons that this architecture could not have been anything else except royal architecture.
There was a magnificent gymnasium, a palestra or wrestling ground, and of course the palace at Ay Khanum, one of the largest that's ever been found, with royal living quarters, audience halls, great colonnades, and attached to it a treasury.
در نهایت کاوشگران وارد گنجینه می شوند. آنها انتظار دارند گنجینه‌ای که مدت‌ها در جستجویش بودند را در اینجا بیابند. هرچند به نظر می آید که گنجینه مدت‌ها پیش تاراج شده است. تا 1978 تنها گنجینه یافت شده دفینه‌های کوچک از سکه‌ها و مصنوعات نقره بودند که در نزدیکی زمین خزانه‌داری کشف شدند. با این حال کاوش‌ها در ای خانم وجود یک قلمرو پیچیده و ثروتمند یونانی را تایید می‌کنند.
Ay Khanum is one of the most significant examples of the mixture of Hellenistic and Bactrian cultures.
It's an added bonus for us that it reveals what life was like on the farthest frontiers of the Greek world in an area now known as Afghanistan.
تنها سوال این است که نتیجه ثروت به کجا رفته است؟ 1978 شایعه طلاهای پادشاهان یونان باستان برای بیش از یک قرن جویندگان را به افغانستان کشید. همه آنها رویای کشف راز یک ثروت گمشده را در سر داشتند. طلای باختری همچنان دور از دسترس باقی می‌ماند، اما میراث آن به شکل شعله‌های جنگ در افغانستان متجلی می‌شود. یک رژیم کمونیستی قدرت را به دست می‌گیرد و شاه که کاوشگران را به کار گرفته بود و از آنها حفاظت می‌کرد برکنار می‌شود.
Zahir Shah ruled from 1933 to 1973. It was considered a prosperous area. His cousin, Prince Daoud, overthrew him in 1973. The communists at this time started to grow in strength.
بخش‌های باستانشناسی در افغانستان اهداف راحتی برای فرماندهان جنگی سرسختی هستند که با نیروهای کمونیست می‌جنگند.
There was a tremendous effort on the part of warlords of Afghanistan to plunder sites in order to gain the funds necessary to wage their wars.
باستانشناسی به یک کار خائنانه در افغانستان بدل می شود. با این حال یک شخص غیر محتمل این شانس را پیدا می کند که در یک حفاری برای میراث ملی گم شده مشارکت داشته باشد. باستانشناس شوروی دکتر ویکتور ساریانیدی.
We went to the north of Afghanistan to this border zone because Western archaeologists never really came here because of the dangerous conditions.
هنگامی که ساریانیدی به افغانستان میرسد، کاوش یک بخش باستانی به نام یمشی تپه در نزدیکی شهر کوچک شوبیرغان با همکاری یک گروه از شوروی و باستانشناسان افغان در حال اجراست. حفاری نتایج شگفت‌انگیزی به همراه داشته است.
There was a big city. Relics found there were from the time when the Greeks conquered Bactria. But there were also some objects from the period after Greek rule.
This is most likely yet another great city built by the Greeks when they ruled Bactria. This treasured city was then inherited by the Kushan Empire when they defeated the Greeks.
Based on what they were finding, we established that this city was most likely once a key part of the Kushan Empire.
با کشف بخش‌هایی از امپراتوری کوشان که دوره اسرارآمیز در تاریخ افغانستان است، همه چیز جالب‌تر می‌شود. با شکست یونانی‌ها در 135 قبل از میلاد مسیح، کوشان‌ها آخرین مالکان شناخته شده ثروت‌های باخترند. هنگامی که کاوشگران توانستند خرابه‌های باشکوه این کلان شهر را کشف کنند، یک قصر بسیار بزرگ نمایان می‌شود که با ساختمان‌هایی که منطقه‌ای به وسعت 50 جریب را پوشش داده احاطه شده است. کاوشگران به سختی می‌توانند آنچه را می‌بینند باور کنند.
On a platform they had a palace from which you could see the whole area surrounding it. Therefore, Yemshi Tepe was a capital city that the kings or the rulers at the time were inhabiting.
یمشی تپه توسط دیوارهای بلند و مستحکم که یک حلقه غیرقابل نفوذ به قطر 2000 پا را تشکیل می‌دادند احاطه شده بود. به احتمال زیاد این یک تکه دیگر از پازل باختری است. تاریخ میگوید که هر کجا قلمرویی باشد پادشاهی نیز هست. هر جا پادشاهی باشد باید در آن نزدیکی یک آرامگاه سلطنتی نیز وجود داشته باشد.
As far as where they were burying their dead, you could normally see the location from the actual palace windows. Therefore, it stands to reason that it must be close. This way, the living relatives could observe from their windows that everything was okay and that the dead were undisturbed.
گروه سریانیدی به امید یافتن اعضای خانواده سلطنتی کوشان که روزی بر این قلمرو حکومت می‌کردند، جستجو در بیرون از دیوارها را آغاز می‌کنند.
We started working by gradually driving in the area and locating all the ancient sites. They were all from the Middle Ages except for one place on a hill called Tilya Tepe, which translates to Golden Hill.
زمانی که ویکتور سریانیدی بر روی تیلیا تپه ایستاده بود، نمی‌دانست یک گنجینه افسانه‌ای در زیر پاهایش آرمیده است.
After a few days of looking, I found painted shards of pottery. At this time, I started making small excavations and realized that this was not a regular settlement.
هنگامی که گروه سریانیدی در حال حفاری بودند، فرماندهان نظامی با فاصله‌ای کمین می‌کنند. ناگهان به چیزی که به نظر می‌آید یک مقبره باستانی باشد برخورد می‌کنند.
We were excavating the temple and we started finding angle-shaped pieces of iron with big nails. Later, it became clear that they were the pieces that held caskets together. At this moment, it started raining, and it lasted for 3 days during which we could not work.
بارش شدید و مداوم باران کاوش را متوقف می‌کند. ساریانیدی و همقطارانش باید بیرون از باران منتظر می‌ماندند تا ببینند چه چیزی در اعماق تیلیا تپه پنهان شده است. 15 نوامبر بارندگی کاهش می‌یابد و گروه به کاوش خود ادامه می‌دهد. ناگهان یکی از کارگران در سمت غربی مقبره یک شیء براق و درخشان را با بیلچه خود پیدا می‌کند.
They called me. I came and saw they found a gold burial chamber.
گروه سریانیدی بقایای فرسوده یک زن باستانی را می‌یابند که از سر تا پا با طلا پوشیده شده است.
The remains of this woman were covered in small pieces of gold. Some pieces were larger ornamented pieces of jewelry or figurines.
این کشف گور یک چادرنشین باستانی کوشان است که 2000 سال پیش دفن شده بود.
They were the ruling dynasties, and when somebody died that was close to them, they would spare nothing.
بین سالهای 135 قبل از میلاد و 241 بعد از میلاد، کوچ‌نشینان کوشان طلاهای پادشاهان یونانی باختری را غارت کردند و غنایم جنگی را با خود به گور بردند.
The Kushana rulers buried at Tilya Tepe took with them a tremendous amount of gold. Their costumes were simply spangled with gold.
The living descendants would put on these fantastic clothes and quickly carry the dead. They would dig a plain hole in the ground, lower the body, and then carefully cover it up with dirt and grass so that by the next day even a herdsman with his animals that grazed there would not be able to see it.
To keep out smugglers and excavators back then. So they didn't want to publicize, hey, that this is the burial site.
The remains of a young woman who took to her grave a kind of eclectic assemblage representing the great cultures of her time. She had with her a bronze mirror from Han China, a coin from the Parthian Empire, a gold coin from the Emperor Tiberius of Rome, a pendant showing the Greek goddess Athena, and she also had an ivory comb clearly imported from India.
ساریانیدی از یافتن مقدار زیادی از طلاهای باختری در افغانستان به هیجان می‌آید. با وجود چنین کشف خارق‌العاده‌ای، ساریانیدی از گروهی از باستانشناسان که در کابل دور هم جمع شده بودند نظرخواهی می‌کند.
So I took some of those medallions and I went to the conference. I decided to share this find with the members of the Kushani specialists. I felt this was my debt.
یکی از باستانشناسان حاضر در جلسه پاول برنار است که 10 سال بدون هیچ موفقیتی به دنبال طلاها بود.
And he took out of his pockets 2 or 3 of these objects. And by God, we were quite astonished because these were marvelous objects and of a kind we had never seen in Afghanistan.
برنار به سختی میتواند باور کند ساریانیدی گنجینه بزرگ را طی تنها 1 هفته یافته است.
He started crying. He said, "Victor, I have been out digging for 10 years and I have never found a piece of gold." I totally understood him and felt compassion for what he was feeling. He found and dug up a Greek city in the heart of Asia, but he was not able to find any gold.
هوش‌های متوالی حتی باعث حیرت بیشتری می‌شوند.
I could not believe this. At first I thought it was only one chamber. Maybe some wealthy person died and was buried and so on. But then it became clear that it was an actual multiple burial site.
کاوشگران دومین و سومین محل تدفین و گورها را نیز کشف می‌کنند.
They were all facing a certain direction and each of them had a tremendous amount of gold.
The discoveries at Tila Tepe revealed one of the largest collections of gold artifacts ever found.
Discoveries such as these are extremely scarce in this world. These riches exemplify the lives of kings and rulers, revealing how wealthy they were, and at the same time it has brightened the darkest periods of our history.
خبر اکتشاف در تپه طلایی تا دور دستها پخش می شود. افغانها با دوچرخه، اسب یا با ماشین به امید دستیابی از تکه‌هایی از فرهنگی که هرگز نمی شناختند به آنجا می رفتند.
Victor Sarianidi's discoveries instantly became worldwide news. Newspaper accounts were comparing this to the discovery of King Tut's tomb. There was such a tremendous amount of gold, some 10,000 pieces. This was mind-boggling to everyone.
در میان این جشن بعضی معتقد هستند نفرین مانند نفرین مقبره توتنخامون بیدار شده است. گفته می شود این طلاها برای اسکندر مرگ را به همراه آوردند. حال این خود افغانستان است که رنج می کشد. افغانستان 1978 ویکتور ساریانیدی و یک تیم از باستانشناسان افغان طلای باختری که مدت‌ها گم شده بود را از خاک بیرون می‌آورند. گنجینه‌ای مانند گنجینه افسانه‌ای توتنخامون که به زمان اسکندر باز می‌گردد. بعضی عقیده دارند که این طلاها نفرین شدند. جبر سیاسی افغانستان مغشوش می‌شود و گروه را در موقعیت خطرناکی قرار می‌دهد.
The Communist Party in Afghanistan was getting a lot of resistance from Islamic types within it. And that's when the Islamic resistance came up. The Islamic resistance was able to maintain the support of the people.
مبارزان اسلامی که به نام مجاهدین شناخته می‌شدند، حکومت پوشالی شوروی را به عنوان یک کشور متجاوز می‌شناسند و نبرد خونینی به نام آزادسازی به راه می‌اندازند.
We were excited, but very worried at the same time. When the Mujahideen entered the political landscape in Afghanistan, all archaeological sites were being robbed and looted.
آمریکا از مجاهدین افغان حمایت می‌کند و آنها را با اسلحه تجهیز می‌کند تا با رژیم کمونیست مبارزه کنند، اما کنترل بسیار اندکی روی آنها دارد.
I looked and I saw robed armed horsemen, and their horses are destroying all our excavation walls by trampling on them. I screamed at them and saw that the workers nearly fainted from this. Those mujahideen totally ignored me. They just continued trampling our walls and then turned and left.
محافظان مسلح به مکانهای حفاری فرستاده می‌شدند تا از کارگران و حجم عظیمی از طلا که می‌یافتند محافظت کنند. اما با چنین وسوسه‌ای که زیر زمین مدفون است، مشکل بتوان به کسی اعتماد کرد.
Every night we had to return to the burial site, but we did not have any barriers or protection of any kind. So we managed to secure it by leaving our footprints in the dirt, and in the morning would check if the guards had entered or not.
کاوش به چهارمین، پنجمین و نهایتاً ششمین مقبره میرسد.
It's estimated to be more than 20,000 pieces of gold plus different gems and stones. So it's a lot of gold.
از این 6 مقبره 5 مقبره متعلق به زنان کشان و تنها یکی متعلق به یک مرد است. گروه از یافته‌هایش خوشحال است، اما تمام این مقبره‌ها شباهتی را آشکار می‌کنند.
Something happened. We don't know exactly why. Visibly, these 6 people died at the same time.
For some reason in that city, there was some major event or tragedy, which has resulted in the death of all of the Kushan royalty.
برخی تصور می‌کردند آیا ممکن است این به خاطر نفرین باستانی طلای باختری از زمان اسکندر باشد؟
So there's mystery behind it. I mean, there's just so much mystery in it. Like, what was going on with this? It was 20,600 pieces of gold. I mean, that's an incredible amount of gold.
تاجی از طلا که یک زن کوشانی آن را بر سر می‌گذاشت در یکی از محفظه‌های تدفین پیدا می‌شود. جمجمه این زن برای مطالعات بیشتر به مسکو فرستاده می‌شود.
When the skeleton was found, it was full of gold, and so that when anthropologists clean it, the gold dust coming off of the skull and from another bones.
The bones were in very small pieces and very badly preserved. We had to piece it together bit by bit in order to form a skull. It's extremely delicate work. It's definitely a female skull. She probably died at between 35 and 40 years old.
جمجمه بازسازی شده و یک نیمتنه برای نمایش شکل ظاهری او از روی آن ساخته می‌شود. گروه ساریانیدی گنجینه گم شده طلای باختری که پیش از او بسیاری به دنبالش بودند را یافته است.
The range is phenomenal. The workmanship is superb. And the synthesis, the cultural synthesis that is taken place is unique.
There are some necklaces that were found in Tilla Tepe with carvings of Greek soldiers' heads and other relics of the Hellenists.
ارزش طلاها میلیون‌ها دلار آمریکا تخمین زده شده است، اما ارزش واقعی در تاریخ افغانستان است که نهفته است، تاریخی که برای 2000 سال گم شده بود.
What is special about it from a craftsmanship perspective is that it allows us to revise some of our notions of cultural history. There's enormous range that this collection is going to open to art historians. Of course, to be able from the material culture to reconstruct the culture, the ceremony, the rituals that used gold so extensively.
The true value in it is the information that it contains, especially in that it belongs to this group of nomads that live in that particular area where there's very little information known about them.
گروه 2 ماه تحت شرایطی که روز به روز سخت‌تر می‌شود حفاری می‌کنند و تکه‌های طلا را از بخش‌های تیلیا تپه خارج می‌کنند. خطر قبایل افغان در حال جنگ همچنان باقی است.
The major problem for them after they started excavating was security, and people start wondering whether the site's going to come under attack.
They had to work as quickly as they can because they knew war was coming. These archaeological teams out there are waiting for some sort of stability to come in so that they don't feel like they're going to get kidnapped and killed off.
منابع مالی آنها مدت است که در حال اتمام و ویزاهایشان در حال انقضا است. ناگهان کشف تکان دهنده دیگری صورت می‌گیرد. مقبره 7 کشف می‌شود.
They had no time to excavate it. And so he had to close his excavations as much for reasons of the weather, which was not favorable, as much as political, very insecure situation.
ابرهای طوفانی آسمان تپه طلایی را پوشانده. وضعیت برای ویکتور ساریانیدی به عنوان یک روز خطرناکتر است.
The Mujahideen are nearby, and from their direction there are constant clouds of smoke.
Any foreigner, especially Soviet or Russian, I mean, their life would have been in danger. They all left the country pretty quickly and abandoned their projects.
The Soviet explorers and excavators have to pull out of the region rather rapidly with what they have found.
ساریانیدی با اکراه هفتمین مقبره را نیمه کاره رها می کند. طبل‌های جنگ پیام‌آور دوره مرگ و نابودی است. گنجینه افغانستان با بلای افسانه‌ای باختری احاطه شده است. « 1979 دکتر ویکتور ساریانیدی و یک گروه از باستانشناسان افغان گنجینه از طلای باختری باستانی را کشف کردند که ارزش آن میلیون‌ها دلار آمریکاست. با رسیدن مرزهای مناطق جنگی به حریم تیلیا تپه و افزایش احتمال تجاوز شوروی، ساریانیدی و گروهش مجبور می‌شوند حفاری را بدون محافظت ترک گویند.
I have no doubts whatsoever that there were at least 3 or 4 more burials. There were at least 10 total. We definitely left some gold in the ground. We barely scratched the 7th burial. We were out of money and time, and we ourselves were exhausted. The conditions were just too terrible, and so we left.
ساریانیدی مقبره هفتم را نیمه کاره رها می‌کند و به سرعت راهی کابل می‌شود تا طلاها را تحویل دهد.
They had to move whatever they had, and they took it to the Kabul Museum.
اگر به طعنه به آنچه در پیش روس بنگریم، این روس‌ها هستند که گنجینه افغانستان را برای امروز حفظ کردند.
We spent 2 weeks handing over this gold to the Afghan officials in the Kabul Museum. Everything had to be counted, which included over 20,000 pieces, tiny pieces. We counted and counted so much that I could no longer look at this gold. One inspector told me that one little bag of gold was missing. I nearly had a heart attack. What do you mean missing? We brought everything. Eventually everything was found, and the mistake was due to the fact that it was such a large quantity of gold.
گروه تصمیم میگیرد تا بهار آینده صبر کنند تا حفاری را در تیلیا تپه از سر بگیرند.
They had been able to only work in detailed excavation of a number of the tombs. So there was a lot remaining.
هرچند هنگامی که طلای باختری کشف شد، احتمالاً نفرین مشهور است که مانع از بازگشت ساریانیدی به تپه طلایی می شود. 1979 سالی که طلای باختری کشف شد، ابتدای 23 سال جنگ.
In the last week of December, the Soviet Union invades Afghanistan. And the Soviet Union claimed the right to be able to intervene in any communist country in the world if requested to in order to save them from counter-revolutionary forces.
موضع اتحاد جماهیر شوروی دفاع از رژیم کمونیست افغانستان است.
If the communist regime collapsed in Afghanistan, then there was this impression that Islam would come across the border into Central Asia. So Brezhnev decided to invade Afghanistan.
The Soviets intervened massively. They were able to very rapidly capture all the cities.
We had a Soviet army of 110,000 wreaking havoc on our country. From 1979 to 1989, they killed over 2 million people in this country. And in the process, all that was taking place in the way of appreciation and understanding of our cultural heritage went all by the side.
2000 سال قبل اسکندر کبیر طلای باختری را غارت کرد و شدیداً مورد هجوم افغانها قرار گرفت. حال با کشف طلاها این مهاجمان روس هستند که در خطرند.
When we look, especially in this period of our modern history, at the wars waged in Afghanistan by Alexander, there are some startling and stunning similarities that we ought to be paying close attention to. In both cases, fairly modern, sophisticated armies, which had been designed to conduct large-scale battles, were suddenly faced with insurgent operations, guerrilla warfare. The warlords of the past are very much like the warlords of the present. We're talking about fighting under the same circumstances in terms of climate and terrain. We're talking about dealing with the same kinds of insurgent movements that are hard to pin down. We're talking about the fact that you need to bring warlords into your camp, but at the same time you have to be careful which warlords you can trust and which warlords you can't. Alexander faced the same kinds of problems.
یک بار دیگر فرماندهان جنگی منطقه با یکدیگر متحد می‌شوند تا دلاورانه در برابر تحمیل یک ابرقدرت بجنگند.
The Soviets controlled the major cities. They had no control over the countryside. The Russians would decide to invade the Panjshir Valley, the home of Shah Massoud, one of the great guerrilla leaders of all time. The Russians knew that this was a stronghold of the resistance. They would go in and invade with their conventional forces up the valley, and lo and behold, they would not find a single Afghan fighter. Once they had secured the area, they would turn around and withdraw. And as they withdrew, Afghans would appear from behind every rock. So by the time they had withdrawn, it was no longer an orderly withdrawal, but it would be a rout. That happened any number of times.
با شدت گرفتن جنگ، ویکتور ساریانیدی و تاریخدانان به دقت اخبار را دنبال می‌کردند به این امید که قسمت کشف نشده طلای باختری در تپه طلایی غارت نشده باشد.
Because of the situation, the Afghan soldiers jumped at the opportunity to dig up the 3 remaining sites at Tilya Tepe. There are photographs from Sotheby's and Christie's. They both had pieces on sale that are identical to ours that could only have been found at our site.
مجاهدین شکست خورده از هر وسیله‌ای برای تأمین منابع مالی لازم برای ادامه نبردشان علیه شوروی استفاده می‌کنند.
Different countries decided that this was a place to give the Soviet Union a bloody nose. They began to provide aid to the Mujahideen, the United States, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, China. They began funneling aid through Pakistan, and with this aid, the Mujahideen eventually was able to stabilize the situation. Then finally in 1986, the Mujahideen started to get Stinger missiles. That changed everything. Once they had Stinger missiles, they were able to knock out Soviet helicopters. Without Soviet helicopters, the Russians did not have control over the skies of Afghanistan, and with such a huge country and few roads, they were unable to transport troops or supplies. Once that occurred, the Mujahideen started to win the war.
مجاهدین که به وسیله آمریکا تجهیز شده بودند توانستند در افغانستان صدمات فراوانی به شوروی وارد کنند. در 1986 میخائیل گورباچوف چاره‌ای جز عقب نشینی ندارد.
And by 1987, the Soviets made the decision to cut and run, and they withdrew from Afghanistan.
Then started the withdrawal of the Soviet regime, followed by the collapse of the Soviet-backed government.
1988 با خروج نیروهای شوروی از افغانستان بسیاری فکر می‌کردند که آنها طلای باختری را با خود قاچاق کردند.
The Soviets pulled out, and then the question is, where did the gold go?
People in Afghanistan were convinced that the Afghan gold had been stolen during the time of the communists in Afghanistan.
The Russian army is probably taken off and left with whatever gold that was there.
اما به طور حیرت انگیزی گنجینه‌ای که ساریانیدی در موزه ملی به امانت گذاشته بود هنوز آنجاست. طلاها از هجوم روسیه در امان ماندند، اما باید دید آیا در دوره بعدی تاریخ افغانستان نیز سالم میمانند یا نه.
The Islamic resistance being a coalition of different groups. They tried to all come together in order to rule the country. But these coalitions were both based on ethnic backgrounds, ethnic differences, and religious differences, Sunni versus Shia. So as a result, they never were able to gel.
People had high hopes that the leaders of resistance would come and be able to bring stability. Instead, it brought civil war.
در 1992 گروه‌هایی که روزی با شوروی جنگیده بودند درگیر جنگی خونین با یکدیگر می‌شوند. سرنوشت طلای باختری با تصمیم گروه‌های درگیر جنگ برای حمله و غارت پایتخت به خطر می‌افتد.
Would all these magnificent things that had been excavated by Paul Bernard and Victor Sarianidi remain safe? Would they be somehow exported or spirited away to other countries? Would there ever be further archaeological excavations at impressive sites in Afghanistan?
جنگ در کابل شدت می‌گیرد و طلای باختری را در مسیر فاجعه قرار می‌دهد. « 1992 با یورش جنگ داخلی افغانستان سرنوشت یکی از با ارزش‌ترین گنجینه‌های دنیا هنوز نامعلوم است. بیش از 20,000 تکه از طلای باختری که توسط باستانشناسان روسی و افغان یافت شده در اختیار فرماندهان قرار دارد که سرسختانه به دنبال منابع مالی برای خرید اسلحه هستند.
Virtually everybody in Afghan society was convinced that the Bakhtian gold had disappeared, never to be seen again.
The Soviet embassy was always trying to distance itself from this. They said, "You found this? Great. Now return it and let's be finished. It belongs to the Afghan people and the Afghan government. So let them do with it as they wish." I was always saying that it is not safe to leave the gold there in Afghanistan because of the political situation.
در حال حاضر هنوز طلای باختری در جایی که ویکتور ساریانیدی آن را در 1978 قرار داد، یعنی موزه ملی ایمن است.
The Afghan National Museum, which is located in the southwestern part of Kabul, was used as a battle station by various rebel factions. The museum suffered the most amount of destruction during the Civil War.
Over a period of time, it was looted by the regional warlord that held it. And every day he would go in and take Buddhist statues, Bakhtian coins, you name it. He'd just walk in and take what he liked. There was nothing to stop him at all.
With this Bakhtian gold specifically, there was rumor that it was sold in the black market for arms. And so archaeologists around the world were constantly watching whatever auction houses were coming up for any signs of the gold that may show up.
This news was shocking and lamenting in that it relayed that up to this point, Afghans were burying their sons and daughters, but today they have buried their culture and history.
It's common fact that anything of a historical interest in Afghanistan, people expect it to disappear.
با وجود هرج و مرج یک مرد این دوراندیشی را داشت که طلای باختری را به مکان امنی منتقل کند. رئیس جمهور پیشین افغانستان نجیب الله.
Najibullah, while respecting religion, was also very much secular. And as part of that secular attribute, he respected cultural relics. And he knew the character of his enemy, the guerrillas, the religious extremists. The ones that were still fighting were doing so because of monetary reasons. And he started taking certain precautions.
نجیب الله می‌دانست که ویرانی موزه نزدیک است. او تصمیم گرفت طلای باختری را به همراه 90 میلیون دلار شمش طلا طی اقدامی فوق سری جابجا کند.
They decided that it would be safer to put it at the vault of the central bank, which is probably the safest place.
گاف صندوق یک شاهکار مهندسی است که توسط یک شرکت آلمانی در دوره نادرشاه در دهه 1930 نصب شده است. نجیب الله برای تضمین امنیت ارزشمندترین گنجینه افغانستان 7 مقام عالی رتبه مورد اعتماد را فرا می‌خواند.
We had a lot of things from the excavation site at Telia Tepe, like the gold cloth worn by a princess, which was from top to bottom ornamented with treasures.
طلاها در 6 جعبه قرار داده می شوند و در محفظه داخلی سری یک گاف صندوق رسوب‌ناپذیر پنهان می شود. گاف صندوق با یک در فولادی بسیار بزرگ که با 7 قفل بسته می شود محافظت می گردد. کلیدهای این 7 قفل به 7 مقام عالی رتبه خارجی که با جانشان از طلای باختری محافظت می کنند تحویل داده می شود. حتی در این محیط متشنج جای طلاها امن است و در دژی درون دژ دیگر قفل شده است.
No one would know who these particular key holders are. It's an incredible treasure, and if you can gain access to who these people are and find who their family is, it's just gold versus, their mother or their daughter or their son.
بدون داشتن هر 7 کلید نمیتوان گاف صندوق را باز کرد. مقامات عالی رتبه به محل خدمت خود باز می‌گردند در حالی که هویتشان سری باقی می‌ماند. در اختیار داشتن کلید هم مایه افتخار است، هم مسئولیتی است که جانشان را تهدید می‌کند.
They were spread out to different parts of the world intentionally to keep these things safe.
1994 طلای باختری ایمن است، اما یک گروه متعصب و تندرو در حال ورود به جنگند.
And then erupted the phenomenon of the Taliban and subsequent takeover of the country by the Al-Qaeda network.
These were not seminaries where people only sat around and studied scripture. They did that. They studied the Quran. They also studied the concept of jihad, of holy war against the infidels. And they were fired up with this. And they were led by Mullah Muhammad Omar, who eventually became the leader of the Taliban. They were convinced that it was God's will to go out and conquer the infidel. Now, who's the infidel? The infidel is anybody who doesn't practice the same brand of Islam that you do. They were fairly severe in their methods of conquering the country. The Taliban now ordered everybody had to wear a chador that covered you from head to foot. Men could no longer shave. You couldn't fly kites because it was considered frivolous and it took your mind away from worshiping Allah.
The foreign minister of the Taliban, Mutawakkil, was asked, "Hey, why are you killing people in the soccer stadium?" He replies on CNN, "Why don't you build me an execution palace and I will not kill people in the stadium?"
It's too much, it's too extreme, people start fighting against it, and they go after art.
در 1995 طالبان شروع به غارت، فروش و تخریب سازمان یافته آثار هنری و تاریخی افغانستان می‌کند.
The Taliban, who had an outright policy of destruction of all pre-Islamic remains, including the smashing of Greco-Bactrian statuary that was found still intact in the Kabul Museum.
They are extremists and fanatics, and they don't want people to make faithful representations of things, of people, which are wrong, because the Islamic law forbids is the representation of God, but not of human beings.
سپتامبر 1996 از آنجا که طلای باختری احتمالاً بزرگترین میراث تاریخی افغانستان است، طالبان به دنبال تنها شخصی که به گنجینه‌های ملی دسترسی داشت می‌روند. رئیس جمهور پیشین افغانستان محمد نجیب الله. طالبان در یک گروگانگیری مسلحانه نجیب الله و برادرش را در پایگاه سازمان ملل در کابل دستگیر می‌کنند.
The crowd came into the compound, dragged him out.
They really wanted him to divulge information about the Tala Tepe.
نجیب الله اسرار محل طلاها و هویت دارندگان کلیدها را همچنان مخفی نگاه می‌دارد. با تمام خشونتی که از سوی طالبان اعمال می‌شود، او سخنی بر زبان نمی‌آورد.
They beat him and dragged him around, and they eventually they castrated him.
And then they hung him from sort of a traffic control tower in the middle of Kabul, and his brother as well.
نجیب الله کسی که خطر طالبان را پیش بینی کرده بود و در پی حفظ ارزشمندترین گنجینه‌های کشور بود، سرانجام رازهای طلای افغان را با خود به گور می‌برد. روزها پس از اعدام نجیب الله، شایعه قدیمی گاف صندوق حاوی گنجینه و شمش‌های طلا طالبان را به بانک مرکزی کابل می‌رساند. مصطفی مدیر خزانه‌داری بانک مرکزی افغانستان است. 35 سال است که امنیت گاف صندوق بانک و محتویات آن بر عهده اوست.
So the Taliban came to the bank one day and started pushing people around, asking about our vault and where the gold reserves and treasures are kept. We told him we did not know. Of course, I did.
طالبان تمامی موجودی نقد دلارها و خزانه بانک را به سرقت میبرند. یک کلاشینکوف بر روی سر آقای مصطفی قرار میدهند و یک کارمند دیگر نیز مورد اصابت تپانچه قرار میگیرد. طالبان دوباره میخواهند به محل گاو صندوق برده شوند. گاو صندوقی که گنجینه طلای افغانستان در آن قرار دارد. مصطفی از روی اجبار افراد طالبان را به 3 طبقه پایینتر و راهروی زیرزمینی راهنمایی میکند. جذبه رازآلود طلاها بسیار قدرتمند است. طالبان میترسند که تله‌ها و حتی سگ‌های نگهبان در انتظارشان باشند. آنها ابتدا مصطفی را مجبور می‌کنند که سیستم امنیتی را غیر فعال کند و آنها را از میان راهرو عبور دهد.
They had guns on both sides, and they told me to open the vault, which I was determined not to do.
مصطفی ساکت می‌ماند و تسلیم خواست طالبان نمی‌شود.
They wanted to kill me. Even I was ready to sacrifice my blood because of my nation. They did not get into the vault, and they were furious. I knew they were going to come back one day, so that's when I decided to make sure they could not be successful. When the Taliban men were walking away, I took one of the keys I had in my hand, and I put it into one of the locks. Intentionally, I broke the key inside the lock by turning it backwards.
کلید شکسته می شود و یک تکه از آن در درون قفل باقی می ماند. خوشبختانه طالبان متوجه این موضوع نیستند.
For not doing what they wanted, they put me in jail for 3 months and 17 days.
مصطفی شکنجه می شود و آنها با قبضه تپانچه به سرش می کوبند، اما هیچ چیز نمی تواند او را مجبور به افشای رازهای گاو صندوق کند.
I wouldn't tell them how to get into the vault because their war and their government did not have popular support of the people. If I would have showed them these valuable things, they would have taken them with them.
26 فوریه 2001 ملا عمر فرمانده متعصب و یک چشم جنبش طالبان حکمی صادر می کند. تمام تندیس‌ها و بت‌های موجود در کشور باید نابود شود. آنها خدایان کفار هستند. 2000 سال طول کشید تا جویندگان طلای باختری که یکی از منابع کلیدی میراث مذهبی و فرهنگی افغانستان است را بیابند. طلاها بازگوینده رازهای قرن‌های گمشده تاریخ افغانستان است، مگر اینکه طالبان زودتر به آن دست یابند. مارچ 2001 طلای ظاهرا نفرین شده باختری، بزرگترین گنجینه افغانستان در حال حاضر در گاو صندوق رسوخ ناپذیر بانک مرکزی کشور همچنان محفوظ است. برای ورود به گاو صندوق باید 7 کلید که در دست 7 مقام عالی رتبه است وجود داشته باشد. طالبان در صدد است به آنها دسترسی پیدا کند، در حالی که گنجینه‌های ملی دیگر که از امنیت پایینتری برخوردار بودند قربانی ملا عمر و جنگ او علیه مذاهب دیگر شدند.
The Taliban regime decided that statues and other artifacts should be destroyed, and they begun this movement from the museum. Approximately 3,000 statues were smashed into piles of dust.
اشیاء به سرقت رفته از موزه‌های ملی کابل وارد بازارهای غیرقانونی می‌شوند. این شیوه جنون‌آمیز گروه‌های متعصب است.
They were given instructions on which item to take, and so they would take that item and similar items they would destroy, so the price of that one item that they've taken is driven up in the black market.
The Taliban introduced an avowed policy to destroy the pre-Islamic remains of Afghanistan, to systematically go out and in defiance of every code of conduct in the world to target and destroy Buddhist artifacts.
طالبان در یک حرکت وحشیانه و بی‌سابقه هزاران دینامیت را در اطراف 2 اثر باستانی مذهبی 1500 ساله، یعنی مجسمه‌های عظیم بودا را که در جهان منحصر به فرد بود، در بامیان کار گذاشتند و سپس آنها را به طور کامل منفجر کردند.
To aim missiles at the great statues of the Buddha at Bamiyan Valley and destroy them as an act of defiance. All of this created a tremendous outrage.
How is it possible that in the 21st century, in front of the whole world, they blew up the only Buddha of its kind?
Well, the Buddha were very spectacular. They not only blowed up the Buddhas, but they also destroyed all the paintings which were all around the Buddhas.
They were the wonders of the world, and in front of the whole civilized world this happened, and everyone was silent.
We are one of the original centers of civilization in terms of the state. The Al-Qaeda network targeted our identity for elimination. The destruction of the Buddha was one example of that, but they really wanted to efface completely all notion that this was a country with a long history of civilization in a culture.
در این زمان بیشتر گروه‌های باستانشناسی جهان از اینکه طلاها در محلی محفوظ هستند بیخبرند. آنها بیش از دیگران نگرانند.
We received reports from time to time about movements of certain artifacts, mostly from the Golden Horde from Tilla Tepe. The reports that the Tilla Tepe gold had been boxed up and moved from one site to another. I was sent photographs by one expert from Switzerland, which showed the Tilla Tepe gold being boxed up in canisters for safekeeping. I wasn't told where this was being taken or how long it might remain there. So the whole movement of this treasure has always been fraught with concern, with controversy, with rumor.
The annihilation of one piece of artifact is the loss of culture. The destruction of so many artifacts was so sad that it destroyed my hope, as well as the hope of all the other academics who wanted to know about Afghan history.
Afghans have taken pride in their art. They always have. They've taken pride in their culture, their songs. You sit around with Afghans, some classical song plays, and like the old men, these rough, gruff old men, start crying. They're shaking their heads because they're completely moved by the art and the music. And so it was a heinous crime to destroy what, in essence, is truly the soul of Afghans.
There was nothing that we could imagine might not be done to the great remains of ancient Bactria. Nothing was beyond, it seemed to us, that particular regime.
با این گونه حملات وحشیانه به تاریخ به نظر نمی آید که طلاها مدت چندانی در بانک مرکزی باقی بمانند. طالبان در راستای سیاست تخریب خود تصمیم می‌گیرند که شکافی دیگر در گاف صندوق زیرزمینی آبی طلای باختری ایجاد کنند. فرمانده عملیات وزیر نیروی هوانوردی طالبان است.
Mullah Akhtar ordered a helicopter armed with rockets to fly over the location of the underground vault.
با در دست داشتن نقشه‌ها خلبان هلیکوپتر را مستقیما به بالای محل گاف صندوق بانک هدایت می‌کنند.
From the air they fire several rockets into the ground, trying to break through the roof of the vault. This had almost no effect on the vault itself. After 3 rockets, they gave up, realizing they could not succeed. Several people were killed in the blasts from the explosions.
اگرچه این تلاش ناموفق بود، اما طالبان قطعاً دوباره باز خواهند گشت. فرماندهان طالبان در تمام کشور به غارت سایت‌ها و بخش‌های حفاری ادامه می‌دهند. ابزاری که سالها پیش توسط جامعه جهانی برای پیدا کردن 5 میلیون مین زمینی فرستاده شده بود را مصادره می‌کنند.
After the withdrawal of the Soviet troops in 1989, that efforts were made to ship to Afghanistan sophisticated metal detecting equipment to try to find and remove all those horrible mines that had been sown into the soil of Central Asia. As a result of that, however, some unscrupulous warlords in Afghanistan took the metal detecting equipment to known sites like Balkh and used them to literally destroy these areas, digging as pot hunters would do to find any remaining coins, gold, silver, artifacts, whatever could be sold.
سایت حفاری بخش ای خانم بیشتر شبیه سطح ماه است. حفاری‌های غیرقانونی در تمام شهر دیده می‌شوند. بیشتر بناها توسط آتش توپخانه در جریان جنگ‌های مختلف تخریب شدند. ستون‌های بزرگ دزدیده شدند. بعضی‌ها حتی در قهوه‌خانه‌ها و کافی شاپ‌ها به عنوان دکور مورد استفاده قرار می‌گیرند.
Their unorthodox means of digging destroys all of the past history that we could learn about if the excavations were properly conducted by experts.
What smugglers are doing is depriving the world of understanding the context.
We were worried, concerned, and anxious about losing the Bactrian gold because it became possible that these precious relics could easily be stolen.
با امواج متوالی تخریب فرهنگی، باستانشناسان جهان تنها می‌توانند فرض کنند که طالبان سرانجام راهی به درون گاو صندوق باز کردند. سوال این است که آنها با طلاها چه کردند؟
The scare then was that maybe they'd melted the gold, sold it off so they can buy arms.
زمان سقوط دکتر نجیب و بعد
The antiquities in the country, whether they were in museums or at historical sites, were stolen, damaged, or destroyed.
آنگاه حادثه‌ای که پیامدهای سنگینی برای جهان و طلاها داشت رخ می‌دهد. 11 سپتامبر 2001 اسامه بن لادن مرگبارترین حمله به خاک آمریکا در طول تاریخ را رقم می‌زند. طالبان و شبکه القاعده در افغانستان خود را در مرکز خطر می‌یابند. یازده سپتامبر 2001 حمله تروریستی اسامه بن لادن به ایالات متحده برای طالبان و شبکه القاعده در افغانستان مجازات سنگینی به دنبال دارد. در حالی که جهان به فکر سرنوشت اسامه بن لادن هست، باستانشناسان جهان نفسهایشان را در سینه حبس کردند. سرنوشت طلای باختری یکی از بزرگترین گنجینه‌های طلایی که بشر شناخته چه خواهد شد. بسیاری بر این باورند که طالبان با میلیون‌ها دلار و اشیاء عتیقه از کشور خواهند گریخت.
Tonight, the United States of America makes the following demands on the Taliban. Deliver to United States authorities all the leaders of Al-Qaeda who hide in your land. These demands are not open to negotiation or discussion.
The objective of the US military is to eliminate Al-Qaeda from Afghanistan and to stop Afghanistan from being a base of operations for terrorist organizations. The Taliban had to be taken out, eliminated from Afghanistan because Al-Qaeda was given protection by the Taliban. If you want to get rid of Al-Qaeda, you have to get rid of the Taliban.
7 اکتبر 2001 آمریکا حمله هوایی به تأسیسات نظامی و پایگاه‌های آموزشی القاعده را آغاز می‌کند.
You had a war pitted between the most sophisticated military power in the world and the simplest band of armed individuals. So the Americans inserted these small A-teams into Afghanistan with their laser-guided munitions and without too much trouble managed to rout the Taliban and Al-Qaeda.
آمریکا و ناتو با بمباران یک منطقه حساس طالبان را از آنجا بیرون می‌رانند. مزار شریف اولین سنگری است که فرو می‌ریزد و طالبان را مجبور به فرار می‌کند. کابل هدف بعدی حملات استراتژیک است. 11 نوامبر 2001 با نزدیک شدن نیروهای متحد، طالبان آماده فرار از پایتخت هستند. ملاهای طالبان تصمیم میگیرند پیش از فرار آخرین حمله را به بانک مرکزی انجام دهند و هر کاری که لازم باشد برای فرار به همراه بزرگترین گنجینه افغانستان انجام میدهند.
There was fighting outside the bank and the presidential palace. The Taliban were losing control of our country.
It was the day before they were toppled in Kabul, and there's planes flying all over the place, and they try to get in there, try to break the vault.
When the coalition forces were attacking, the Taliban came to my home looking for me, but I was able to elude them. They had some sort of plan to get into the vault.
گروهی از ملاهای طالبان به بانک مرکزی افغانستان باز می‌گردند تا بانک را از پول، ذخیره طلا و از همه مهمتر گنجینه افسانه‌ای که نزد مورخان به طلای باختری مشهور بود خالی کنند.
The armed men barged into the bank, demanding the bank officials give them the keys to the vault. They were dealing with the Taliban. They could easily have shot them. One of the brave employees tells them that 7 keys were made which were given to 7 people. These people are living all over the world. We have to bring them all together to open it.
The armed men made the bank employees open the drawers and safes, stealing 13 million American dollars and another 18 billion Afghanis.
طالبان احساس خطر می‌کردند زیرا کنترل شهر را به کلی از دست داده بودند. ملاها به سمت گاو صندوق ریاست جمهوری می‌روند و 2 کارمند بانک را نیز با خود به گروگان می‌برند.
They grabbed an employee and told him to open the vault or else. He couldn't help them, so they beat him until he almost died.
دومین کارمند التماس می‌کند تا او را نکشند و می‌گوید که نمی‌داند چگونه گاو صندوق را باز کند. با تشدید بمباران در بیرون از بانک، طالبان فرصت زیادی برای خروج از کابل ندارند. آنها تمام کلیدها را برای گشودن گاو صندوق امتحان می‌کنند، اما به نتیجه‌ای نمی‌رسند.
They are desperately trying to get in there because they want to get the gold.
ابزار و آلات مختلف نمی‌توانست گشاینده باشد. طالبان سعی می‌کنند از جوشکاری برای نرم کردن قفل‌ها استفاده کنند.
They had spent 6 hours down in the vault trying to open the door.
They inflicted heavy blows and damages to the vault, but it withstood their efforts.
طالبان به سراغ آخرین شانسشان می‌روند. در نهایت آنها در جلوی در گاو صندوق دینامیت کار می‌گذارند به این امید که آن را با انفجار باز کنند. به نظر می‌آید فراموش کردند دقیقاً کجا هستند و چند متر زیر زمین قرار دارند. علامت انفجار داده می‌شود. در همین لحظه یکی از کارمندان بانک فریاد می‌زند این کار بسیار خطرناک است.
To blow it up, it had been designed so the whole building will fall in, so the Taliban couldn't blow it up.
انفجار تنها آنها را نمی‌کشد، بلکه احتمالاً طلای باختری را نیز نابود خواهد کرد. هیچ شانسی وجود ندارد. سرانجام طالبان با 18 میلیون دلار پول نقد از آنجا می‌گریزند. آیا می‌دانستند چقدر به گنج عظیم طلای باختری که مربوط به زمان اسکندر است نزدیکند؟ گنجی که آنقدر ارزشمند است که همتای گنجی است که در مقبره توتنخامون است. نوامبر 2001 آمریکا و نیروهای ناتو کنترل پایتخت را به طور کامل در اختیار می‌گیرند و طالبان ناگزیر از فرار می‌شود. رژیم متعصب و خشک مغز طالبان اکنون می‌خواهد خود را از مهلکه نجات دهد. یک دولت موقت به ریاست رئیس جمهوری حامد کرزای آماده می شود تا کشور را به ثبات برساند. دولت جدید در تلاش برای بازسازی این کشور جنگ زده به آرامی به حساب دارایی‌های کشور رسیدگی می کند. در 28 آگوست 2002 حامد کرزای به همراه 7 مقام عالی رتبه قصد بازدید از امن‌ترین گاو صندوق کشور را دارند.
It is very high security, both in terms of design of the building and in terms of the specific features that would protect it. And second, it has a safe procedure. No minister or the governor of the bank is entitled to open the vault alone.
There are a number of keys, separate keys, and every time that it's open, they'll all have to be there.
آنها به زیر زمین می‌روند تا به گاو صندوق برسند. آنجا یک کلیدساز می‌تواند تک کلیدی که مصطفی به عمد داخل قفل شکسته را بیرون آورد. 7 کلید آمادند و درون قفل می‌چرخند. درهای گاو صندوق باز می‌شود.
It was quite exciting. It was a big event, but we're also apprehensive at the same time as to what we're going to find out.
مردها پس از دهه‌ها جنگ و غارت انتظار یافتن چیز اندکی را دارند. اما آنها غرق در انبوه طلای میشوند که اکنون در مقابلشان قرار دارد. منظره 90 میلیون دلار شمش طلا آنها را به زانو در میآورد. مقام‌های بلندپایه از یافتن ذخیره طلای افغانستان بسیار خرسند هستند. هرچند طلای باختری همچنان دور از دسترس است.
The new government didn't know where it was. Oh, well, obviously it must be missing because we've been in power for 2 years and there's no sign of the gold.
Where's the gold? No one knew where the gold was.
What was the fate of the Bactrian gold excavated by Victor Sarianidi from Tilla Tepe?
28 آگوست 2002 کابل، افغانستان. گروهی متشکل از 7 مقام عالی رتبه در جستجوی یکی از رازآمیزترین گنجینه‌های جهان، طلای باختری، به یکی از غیرقابل نفوذترین گاو صندوق‌های جهان می‌رسند. 7 کلید حاضر است و درون قفل‌ها چرخانده می‌شود. در بزرگ فولادی باز می‌گردد. انبوهی از شمش‌های طلا پیدا می‌شود، اما گنجینه باختری هیچ کجا دیده نمی‌شود.
There had been a lot of allegations that this wonderful collection from antiquity had actually been looted.
بررسی‌های آتی گاو صندوق یک محفظه مخفی داخلی را آشکار می‌کند.
They go in, then they find the greatest treasure of this part of the world, the King Tut equivalent of Central Asia.
It was a day of joy for us because we were able to open the vault and verify that all the boxes in which the collection had been stored were actually in place.
تمام کشور برای ربع قرن درگیر جنگ بود، اما طلاها سالم ماندند. گنجینه دقیقاً همان جایی است که نجیب الله رئیس جمهور در 1989 آن را پنهان کرده بود.
Despite all the upheavals and turmoils, the international aspect of the war, the domestic aspect of the war, the extreme chaos and the anarchy that prevailed in Afghanistan, thank God nothing happened to the vault of the central bank.
It really was a very, very special day. It verified that the cultural heritage of the country was there.
It shows that the Afghan spirit lives on.
Very impressive. I mean, some of the refined jewelry type work that was done on these, it's quite impressive.
So the boxes were verified first, then we invited a committee that is painstakingly documented each and cataloged it.
طالبان لحظه به لحظه در موقعیت بدتری قرار می‌گیرد. با حضور آمریکا در افغانستان، طالبان ناگزیر از فرار از کابل می‌شود. مردانی شجاع و میهن پرست گنجینه منحصر به فرد را حفظ می‌کنند.
Two groups really stand as heroes in this case. One are the staff of Kabul Museum, who in the critical period of late 1980s persuaded the then officials to remove the richest part of the cultural heritage to the palace vault. And second are the employees of the central bank, who have continuously strived to make sure that the collection was not made available to those who would subject it to pillage or sale or personal abuse.
This was my conscious duty and my responsibility to not let them enter. I was not afraid. They were not Afghans.
هر کس که از جریان با خبر بود تلاش میکرد تا طلاها را از نابودی نجات دهد.
It was intentionally made as murky as possible so that the Taliban themselves would be unaware of the location of the Tilla Tepe gold. And by keeping the Taliban in the dark, of course, the rest of us were kept in the dark as well. That's a great anxiety that we, in hindsight, were willing to bear as long as the treasure has remained safe.
The tragic figure in all of this would probably be Najibullah, who was accused in 1989 to have sold it to the Russians before he locked it away.
I think the fact that nothing has happened to any of the items that we have at the vault during all the upheavals, when lots of things were stolen from the country, that I think testifies to the fact that this is a very well protected and very secure place. I wish the government had transferred all the items from the Kabul museum.
طلاها بسیار با ارزشند، اما ارزش واقعی در فرهنگی غنی است که نمایانگران هستند.
Such items testifies the age of this land, of this people, and the civilization, various civilization that have prospered here and unfortunately have also over time declined. Of course, it's a national heritage and a national treasure for us that can testify how far back our history goes and sheds light on that.
The period when the Greek Bactrian kingdom was destroyed and the Kushan kingdom has not been found was called the Dark Period because the archaeologists knew nothing about it. Tilya Tepe now throws a very bright light onto this problem. Now you can say that this period is not so dark.
تخریب فرهنگی به دلیل جنگ یا غارت در سراسر جهان اتفاق می‌افتد، اما در هیچ کشوری گسترده تر از افغانستان نیست.
We find all the time newspaper reports giving us indications of how much has been lost, for example, from Iraq.
در سراسر جهان اتفاق می‌افتد، اما در هیچ کشوری گسترده تر از افغانستان نیست.
We find all the time newspaper reports giving us indications of how much has been lost, for example, from Iraq. As a result of the Iraq War. All of that is a tremendous tragedy. But it pales in comparison, really, to the amount of damage that has been done, the amount of destruction that has been deliberate among the antiquities of ancient Afghanistan.
برخی اعتقاد دارند که طلاها نفرین شده است و با خود تاریخی طولانی از مرگ و نابودی به همراه دارند.
It is definitely cursed. The whole tragedy of this treasure is that 25 years had passed. We are in the 21st century and practically no one has seen it.
Find one surviving piece, much less an entire treasure, is like thinking that your entire family had been exterminated in some horrible Holocaust, and then to discover that no, not only is your brother still alive, but indeed your brothers and your sisters and your mother too. Some are lost, but you're awfully thankful for anything that still remains.
زمانی که فرماندهان و شورشیان هنوز در سایه ها کمین کردند، ثبات در افغانستان همچنان شکننده است. جامعه بین المللی مجبور است صبورانه باشد. وزیر فرهنگ کشور برای نمایش تاریخ غنی افغانستان مشتاق است، اما از دزدیده شدن آن می‌ترسد.
We have a lot of problems. Terrorism is still around. The government is not still strong enough. We don't have strong institutions yet. We need to have an army, a police, and a judiciary. So we'll keep working till we have all that.
So overall, this presents both a bridge in terms of a connection to enable citizens all over the world to benefit from this unique act of creativity, because it stands out. You know, it's not ours alone. It really belongs to the world. In that sense, it's part of our common heritage.
کاوش‌ها و حفاری‌های غیرقانونی که در افغانستان شایع شده، شانس توسعه دانشگاه‌های تاریخ افغان را از میان می‌برد.
Afghanistan is one of the few archaeological heavens because so much remains to be discovered. And we hope that hundreds of archaeologists will come, work in an organized fashion, and pull together this fascinating history. I think we offer something parallel to Egypt, Turkey, India and China in this regard.
در اکتبر 2004 فرانسوی‌ها کار آلفرد فوشه را که یک قرن پیش آغاز کرده بود دنبال کردند در بلخ.
We are in much better condition to find what Fouché did not find.
We're not only rebuilding the state in a democratic manner, but are also rebuilding our culture, rediscovering history. And archaeology is going to be a very important part of this. And this collection is a very important asset in multiple ways.
The future of Afghan archaeology, I hope, will be a bright one. There might be other icon-nooms that we can excavate in peaceful circumstances and systematic and scientific circumstances that will fill out the great blanks that still remain in our knowledge of the ancient Bactrian kingdom.